If you've been around the channel for a long time, you might remember that I used to make one video a year where I'd address all of the most common questions that I'd get for that year. It was a big event, people looked at it like a second Christmas if Santa Claus was a greasy, gamer-gunked little goblin. And I don't do that anymore these days. I've buried that tradition because I stream every day on Twitch, so I'm always answering the most common questions anyway. And since it's Twitch chat, I'm always answering the same 3 questions over and over again. It's like in fucking 51st Dates with 10-Second Tom. But just like last year, I thought it might be fun to do it on YouTube as well, because obviously not everyone's going to the streams. It's their loss, they're missing out on a few extra inches on their penis, but what am I gonna do? I'm not their dad, I can't force them. So why not just answer those common questions in a YouTube video so that way everyone's caught up on the lore. We'll start with the one that's been getting asked a lot recently, which is about the kitty. Yeah, I recently got a cat, and not because I'm a bandwagon follower. I know a lot of other YouTubers also got cats. This was actually a cat that was left behind outside of a PetSmart in a box that Tiana and I just decided to help nurse back to health, and eventually just decided the cat's too cute to not keep. And a lot of people have been wondering if we finally decided on a name. The answer is no. And that's because we still don't even know the gender of the cat, which has been making it pretty hard to come up with a really badass name that would strike fear into the hearts of other animals. As I mentioned before, the cat was unfortunately born with a birth defect in its ass. I forgot the name of it, but fundamentally, like, the colon doesn't really connect to the anus, or it's extremely narrow, and it's a very serious problem, but we did get the surgery and the cat's been doing better, but because of that, it's been really hard for any vets to properly gender the cat. I didn't know this, and maybe because I'm a big fucking stupid idiot, but cats don't have, like, visible testicles when they're that age. I just assumed all cats were hanging dong, but I guess that's not the case. The proper procedure is to go into the ass to figure out the gender of the cat, which, because of the problem the cat was born with, has made it really difficult, so we still don't know the gender, so still haven't really decided on a name. This next question is one that I've been asked every year, a million times a year, since I became a little more open with all of you with my face and a little bit about me. It's, why are you so short? A real brain-bustin' goofy one. Yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm just cursed. I got unlucky. Osmosis Jones stunted my growth when I was 14. I don't know what you want from me. I don't know why I'm short. It's not like I enjoy being short. I'd prefer to be taller. I think that'd be great. But it's something I have absolutely no control over. Someone gathered all 8 Dragon Balls and made a wish that I'd be 5'6", and god damn it, that's where I've stayed since I was like 16. It is what it is. Me going outside and angrily shaking my fist at the clouds isn't gonna do anything to help me get taller. I don't know why so many people ask so many questions about me being short. Yeah, I suppose I'm just a circus freak at 5'6", I don't know. But I've answered this every single year for like 6 years now, and I can't wait to do it again next year. While we're on the topic of repeat questions, this is one that I also always get asked is, why am I so negative? I just disagree. I'm not negative, pussy. You're the Debbie Downer, not me. I'm not negative about things. I just am not like a completely brain-rotted zombie consumer who just accepts everything with a big smile on my face and like says it's perfect. The things I like have flaws. So even my like favorite things, like The Mummy, my favorite movie, I know is not the best movie ever made. There's plenty of things wrong with The Mummy, which I can point out and still appreciate the movie as my favorite. Like, I just subscribe to the belief that nothing's perfect, and you can always talk about the shortcomings or flaws in things that you might like. You don't have to just write off, any problems with something you enjoy because you enjoy it. You can still talk about them while also still enjoying it. I just don't think I'm negative. I really don't. I'm not looking for the bad in things. I just talk about the good and the bad in things as much as possible. Unless, of course, it's an extreme case like Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore, the newest one, then it's all bad and there's nothing good. Despite my best efforts to locate even just a single iota of decency from that movie, there's nothing. Not even the Lord could forgive that cinema sin. That goddamn movie is a stain on Hollywood in general. That movie is fucking atrocious. The best thing that can be said about the new Fantastic Beast movie is that it ends. So, besides that, I'm just not negative. Yeah, maybe I can admit that in the heat of passion I may rant about things I don't like the Halo show, another extreme example. But even when I'm playing in the pig pen and rolling around in the septic tank that is the Halo TV show, I also do find a couple of things to compliment, such as a few action scenes. So again, I I disagree. I just don't think that I'm negative or always looking for the bad in things. Next question's a little rapid fire round here because it's a quick one. What's in the Pokemon frame behind me, and what are in these two frames? In the Pokemon frame, it's all of the first edition base set Shadowless, so all 16 holos there, including Charizard. I got all of them damaged, so they were super cheap, which was great, but I think they look wonderful in the frames, and I think grading cards is a scam, so I don't care about their condition. And then in these two Yu-Gi-Oh frames over here, these are all the Ghost Rares first edition, and these are all the Starlight Rares first edition. Next question's another one of these in the bar bathroom quickies. It's, will Godslap ever have an anime? So as you know, we posted the Godslap animation, which is basically just the first 15 pages that we had animated by Sikowski Studios, the same studios behind Skynet, and we did it as just a promo piece and proof of concept, and a lot of people have wondered, will there be like an actual full animation for it? And the answer is, we hope so. As you might recall, we did mention that we had a pitch with Netflix at some point, which is still on the table, and I guess we'll see how that goes. We'll probably also take it elsewhere. And let's be honest, Netflix is desperate for something that's not dog shit. And I promise you, Godslap is the furthest thing from dog shit. So if you're watching this, Mr. John Netflix, perhaps Godslap could be your savior. I know the stock prices aren't doing amazing, but they could be with Godslap, perhaps. But back to the core question, we want it to be a fully animated series that runs adjacent to the comic books. However, we can't do that ourselves. We don't have that kind of budget, so we're hoping that we can partner with a streaming service in order to do that. The next question is about Moist Esports. It's, what is Moist Esports' grand plans? Like, what are we trying to accomplish with the org? And I think a lot of people are still under the naive impression that Moist Esports is just a joke throwaway project, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Moist Esports is something that I and the entire team are taking extremely seriously. We want it to become an actual legitimate Tier 1 org. And I honestly think we're getting pretty close. We're knocking on the door. We are the danger. In fact, just today, our Rocket League team won both their series and guaranteed themselves a spot in the London Major at the end of the month. We have one of the best Rocket League teams in the world. We're also guaranteed a spot in the Rocket League World Championship coming up in August. So we have one of the best squads in Rocket League. We have some of the best fighting game players, best Smash players, best Guilty Gear, best Brawlhalla, and we recently got a Splitgate team who's also one of the best. So we've got a whole fucking lineup of superstars here, and yes, we do want to expand into other games like CSGO, Valorant, Dota, League, all of those big staples, the games we enjoy watching and would love to be in, but right now it's a little too expensive for us, but we do have those plans down the road. It's something we want to do. We're extremely hungry, and the only thing that can satiate our appetite is giant fucking dubskis, huge world championship wins. And this leads directly into the next frequently asked question, which is, can I join Moist Esports? Absolutely fucking not, you swine. Moist Esports will find you. We're like Nick Fury. We recruit in the shadows, and only the best in the world. But I do always really appreciate people that get excited about Moist Esports and show interest in like wanting to compete for us. It really is meaningful. This next question is one I'm also pretty sure I answered at some point, but I can't remember if I ever did it in a YouTube video, so I'm just going to do it again to be safe. Why is Moist part of like my name on everything? And it all started in college. I got a Wii U. Yes, I was one of those fucking suckers that was scammed into buying a Wii U, and I bought it for my friends and I to play at our dorm. And I had to come up with a cool name for our little me avatar, and Nintendo has extremely strict profanity filters, so I couldn't make anything too, like, outrageous, and I eventually came up with Big Moist, because I thought it sounded silly and stupid, which was the vibe I was going for with the name, and I ended up just really liking the name Big Moist. So then I ended up making my personal Snapchat account Big Moist, and so my friends would use that name when talking about like the Wii U and me sometimes, and then I just ended up just really liking the word moist for everything. So that's how that spawned what it currently is today. This next one's actually kind of deep, and it involves a time in early college that I've talked about a lot where I pretended to be a mysterious anime character and it failed me socially. I became such a weirdo that people were afraid of, and I'm asked, how did I finally get out of that? How did I, achieve self-awareness and leave that disgusting arc in my anime behind? How did I get over it? And the answer is I surrounded myself with actually socially adept people. So in my early college days, I commuted to college. I used to just go from my house, my parents' house, to college. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time around a lot of people because they were rightfully fearful of me because I adapted such a weird image where I wouldn't talk to people and I'd scare them. I'd put the fear of God in them. But coming around into like late sophomore year, I decided I was going to live on campus because I thought it would be good for me to be constantly surrounded by other people so I could absorb their social information like a fucking sponge. And it worked. I got lucky enough to room with random roommates that all happened to be like actual party-going, popular people, and I was able to learn from them. Fucking taking notes in the bathroom like a dweeb, coming up with how partying works, and it ended up breaking me out of this anime zone that I had trapped myself in. So I was able to escape it, not under my own power, but because I made the decision to learn from other people and surround myself with people that were better at socializing than I was. And they were actual angels. They were nice enough to take me to parties with them as like their little Padawan, and I was able to suckle from their bosom and learn from them. I'm forever in their debt for being nice to me and actually taking me to parties and to meet people and stuff. Because without them, I would probably still act that way in public, like that loser I was in the first year and a half of college. Let's pick up the pace here, increase the BPM. Will I ever fight in a YouTuber boxing match like Creator Clash 2? No. I don't feel confident fighting anyone over the age of 12. I don't want to get hit. I'm afraid of getting hit, but I'm confident that I could beat anyone 12 and under because I think I could just have a flawless victory where I would be able to brutalize them without them actually being able to land any hits on me. Next up, why am I afraid of flying? Well, it's because if something goes wrong and the plane crashes, everyone dies, and that doesn't sound turbo cool to me. It sounds pretty awful. And I understand the statistics. It's pretty rare for something like that to happen, but it doesn't change the way I feel about it. I'm still afraid of it. Another easy layup here, why am I not afraid of horror games? And it's because I've played so many of them, I just never really get unnerved anymore. I never get startled by jump scares, except for very rarely. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy them. I still find horror games to be silly and fun sometimes, but yes, I don't get scared by them because pretty much every modern horror game that gets released is a carbon copy of every horror game before it. Almost all of them these days are walking simulators where you're collecting different pieces of lore or different keys or different pieces of a puzzle in order to escape something while being chased by something. It's all the same formula that I've seen a million times, so by now I'm just pretty numb to it. It just doesn't scare me, and it never really has, except for when I was younger. I'm sure there's quite a few questions that I missed, but these are the ones that were top of mind for me, so I imagine these were the most common ones. But if there's anything I didn't get to, I'm sure I'll answer it on stream tonight anyway. So anyway, yeah, just wanted to do one of these again because I think it's always at least fun to just go over questions that people have. And yeah, that's really about it. So yeah.